So I am just bubbling with nervous energy. Whew, it's done. I just posted a video on a brand new YouTube channel to bring awareness to the hover headset, and for a limited time, you can be one of the first or second subscribers.
Setup guide, the explanation.
And I'll post a link to this video in the description section. But, I kind of want to talk about the journey that it's taken to get here. We have a website too, hoverheadset.com. And then, it's got all of the details. The website was designed and created by me and the love of my life, Julia, my sweetheart. Where to even start? Okay, first of all, I got to show you the madness in my house right now. It's a little out of control. These are boxes of hover headsets. We have 500 of them here. And the story behind this, I'm going to tell you, is pretty funny. I have equipment in here of all kinds. Anyway, where to begin? First of all, let me show you the rest of the boxes. Are you ready for this? Don't be scared. Oh, it's so dark in here. Look what's in here. This is, there's no light. Let's turn on some light. There's a little bit of light. Oh my God, there's so much stuff in this house. Okay. About a year ago, Dave bought the Apple Vision Pro on day one. And we were hoping to use it to build things, make things. I mean, you can see I build things and make things a lot. Yeah, I know. It looks like a dump. These are for sale right now on Facebook Marketplace. So is that. Why? Because it has taken us almost $50,000 to bring the hover headset to market. We did not think that was going to happen in the beginning. This could end up being a really long video. Let me, I think I'm going to have to walk and shoot maybe. I can't stand still. I have so much nervous energy right now. Because there's a lot, riding on this for me and for Dave. But yeah, he bought the Apple Vision Pro. You can watch the video on the other channel. It'll go into a bunch of details about it. But essentially, it was not very practical or usable. We were wanting to use it for all of the, Dave builds things and puts them in the CAD, and then I can see what he sees. We can see it in real time. I eventually will make you some videos from inside of the Apple Vision Pro. And it is an absolutely amazing experience using it and developing products together, especially with Dave being in Pennsylvania and I'm in Florida. This is where I actually shot the video last night, back here under this tree. There was lighting problems, sound problems. I looked like before when I was trying to do it in the house, it looked like I was making like a QVC video. And Good God. Oh, come on, Paul, settle down. Okay, so Dave gets the Apple Vision, the Apple Vision Pro, and he realizes it's too heavy on his face, and he just immediately starts designing a solution for it, which took many months. But there were prototypes along the way, very quickly, and iterated. I went out and bought an Apple Vision Pro. we have partners, our manufacturing partners for products that we make or have made or are making, and we talk to them about it because to make a product like the hover headset, you have to have tooling for injection molds, and I will just calming down a little bit. I will show you what the actual hover headset looks like without it being on here. This is, I had to build this little jig right here to put the labels on the boxes because we're doing all that by hand. This is going to be hard to do with one hand. It's happening. There we go. And this is the hover headset. There's a little QR code on the box and inside the box. Also cut and print this little card ourselves too. But that takes you to the setup guide about how to use this thing. But to make this little piece of plastic and this foam thing, these little buttons, the tooling to make this takes several pieces of tooling, and it cost about $30,000. Plus we had to buy the actual product from our manufacturer when they made them for us. And we've had expenses along the way. Even though we're trying to do everything ourselves, we got about $45,000 invested into this product. If we sell them for $45 a piece and sell 1,000 of them, we break even. You see this is going. So we're going to sell them for a little more than 45. I think about $64 a piece. And yeah, we like sell about 1,000 of them in the lifetime of the product to break even, because it's really a passion project and a way for us to kind of kick off like some new things we're doing and different ways we're doing it. We're not. Yeah. So okay. So Dave starts making these prototypes basically for himself and for me. And then the question is, now what? Well, I built this chair right here too. Kind of created it myself. It's a pretty cool chair, right? It's got this pole in the back. And you pull it out and move it, and it makes the back super adjustable. It has these giant armrests. And it's super comfy. I needed some patio furniture. And that's a whole other story. So I built this chair. And then Dave and I have actually designed another version of it, a better version of it. And we're going to be building and making those too. But mostly like for ourselves. But we're going to put some of them on Facebook Marketplace because they're pretty cool looking the way it turned out. Oh, Lord have mercy. So we're working on this project and like 3 or 4 other ones at the same time. This one just came together faster than those are coming together. When our manufacturing partner said that they would cover the cost of the tooling for us, which is, I mean, you know, that's just like something you can only do if you have those relationships over many years. But that happened, and I might be able to set this down here and not be shaking around all over the place. Let me see. I assume I'm in frame all right. Anyway, so when we said let's make the tooling, you know, it's like at that point you got to go. And so we started working on the website, and you know, we started working on everything. It took a few months to make the tooling over the middle of the summer, and then they sent us samples, which can get here pretty quickly from China. But once we actually ordered the product, they have to make the samples. You know, they have to make them all, package it all, put it together, get things approved by us, and then we just have to wait. And yeah, now there's like tariffs and things that could change the price of this, on our next order. It didn't affect this particular order. But started to get a little bit nervous because people don't, the Apple Vision Pro is not the most successful product Apple's ever launched, to put it mildly, but it is an absolutely fantastic experience. You'd have to have one. You'd have to have a purpose for it. Besides just like watching movies. If you got money and you're rich, because the Apple Vision Pro is like $3,500. It was like $4,000 with some taxes and warranty and stuff, but we need it for the way we develop products from a distance from each other. We just need it. But we wanted to have this out around Christmas, and we thought we were on track for that, and obviously it's way past that now. But there was a host of problems and delays, and it started getting really difficult to deal with because we had already spent money, we had already spent time, we had plans, and it just kept dragging on and on and on and on. And then this is on a side, this is I personally did not plan very well for all of this, and I thought it was going to happen faster and sooner and better. And now I'm not even so sure, or how successful it'll be. Like I said, it's a passion project, so if we can break even, that will be considered very successful. But we decided to make it for others and try to get it out there. It's a very niche product, so it might not be super hard to get in front of people, because it's easy to find when there's not very many people looking for something. You type it in and there's not like 1,000 results. There's like 4 people talking about it, and you can find all 4 of them pretty easily. It's super niche, right? So the Apple Vision Pro and the community of enthusiasts is probably, I'm going to guess, maybe a couple 100,000 people. Maybe more. I don't know. So we should be able to sell 1,000 of these in the next year. We'll see. But anyway, it drug on. I went through a lot of personal turmoil, anxiety. You would think I've done this so many times it would all come naturally to me, but it's not coming naturally. I'm like just like this video, I'm having to kind of I don't know, find myself again. My ability to communicate and talk and create and share, and I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's been a difficult process, and I am so incredibly relieved to, at least be on day one. Like the website's live, a video's out. Like, okay, now what? So, but just getting the packages from the shipper was kind of funny. When I'm arranging the shipment, so when you order something overseas, you most has to come in a container, and we didn't have a full container, so the terminology is called an LCL. I think it's less than container, or less than, what's that? LCL, less than a container. I can't think of the name right now. It's called something besides a container. It's like a different acronym. I have to look them up constantly because I don't even understand. And then the border patrol and customs gets involved, and a lot of people have to get involved, and you have to have representatives for you do things. And this drug out and cost us a lot more money than we thought it was going to. It took a lot longer. But I think the funniest thing happened at the very end. They were saying, okay, it's going to be in the port of Miami. You need to arrange shipment to get it to you. And I said, no, I'm just going to pick it up. And they said, okay, but it was almost like they never really had very many people come to the port to pick up their own stuff. They have trucking companies and shipping, companies show up and do all this. And here I am calling, messaging every day. Is it there yet? Is it there yet? Like, well, it's here, but it's still on the container. It's here, but we can't. We're all backed up at the port, and it'll be another week. It's here, but it's got to clear customs. Oh, it's cleared customs. Yes, thank God. Oh, the next day later, customs changed their mind. It's not cleared. Now we got to take it back to the port after it'd been. You see what I'm saying? It was going back. It was driving me crazy. And this took another 2 or 3 weeks. Finally, they tell us customs released it twice, but they want to check it a third time. Now, look, I'm happy they're checking things. I don't want fentanyl or anything crazy, being shipped in our boxes and or anybody else's. So if they're catching that, getting rid of it, sign me up. But they charge you for it. They charge you just to inspect you. So it'd be like if you got pulled over by the police and they just walk up to you and say, hey, we're going to charge you money to see if you've committed any crimes. So give us access to everything and pay us a bunch of money. And if we don't find anything, you won't go to jail. If we do find anything, you'll go to jail. If we don't find anything, you won't go to jail. But you do have to pay, or you don't get your stuff. And then they have to move it around from place to place, and they hire people to do that, and that costs hundreds of dollars. And I'm not saying it's a racket or a scam, but I would think that it would be, if Trump wants to do something nice for business, how about you only get charged for customs inspections if you did something wrong and they find something in there. If they don't find it in there, they didn't do anything wrong, they send it on through. So in a way, they check things to get paid, whether they find anything or not. No incentive to find anything, just an incentive to keep searching and getting paid to search. And charging people like me and Dave hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It was okay. So all of this is kind of new to me. We had done this many years in the past, but someone else was in charge of it instead of me. So that's been difficult. But I'll kind of wrap it up with this. I showed you all those boxes in there. Well, I did an original assessment of the size of these boxes and the size of my van. And I know it's crazy, but for some reason I had done the math wrong on how many square feet and cubic this and that. And I thought I could pick them all up in one load with this van. Obviously, I could not. So I drive to the port of Miami, and I'm nervous because I know they're going to ask for ID. And I literally had just lost my driver's license for probably the first time, maybe the second time in my whole life. I'm sure I probably lost them before. I can't remember that. But I lost my driver. I lost my wallet, essentially. Out when I was out one night, and it was all there was in there was just a driver's license and 2 debit cards. So instantly canceled the debit cards, ordered my new driver's license, and I was like, how could this happen 3 days before I go to Miami? Now I do have a passport, but I'm thinking they might want like a real driver's license, because I am driving in and driving out. So they're like, well, you got a passport, but if you don't have a driver's license, you can't even drive this vehicle. I knew it was going to cause maybe a problem, but I'm like, I got to go, and I just got to take my passport, and I just got to pray it works out. Well, it's a 5-hour trip, so it's a 10-hour round trip from here in Zephyr Hills, which is near Tampa, which is the west coast on the Gulf of America, as it's called. And Miami is on the East Coast. And they still call that the Atlantic Ocean. But you never know. It could be the American Atlantic. But sooner than later. But but I come into Miami, insane traffic. I get there nice and early, and I feel like I'm on the set of a movie of every, like, you know, shootout driving through, you know, a port, and there's containers everywhere, and there's trucks moving them all, and there's just a buzz of activity, but it's all like, there's like cones telling you where to drive, and arrows, and there's no street signs, and it's like a maze. And there's no one to really ask. There's no like guard shack to go into the port. It was wild. You just drive up to the port. You just drive around in circles, and you can't go in buildings and stuff. But it's like a maze. And I don't know how Google Maps, like, it literally took me straight to a door with no signage, down like at the edge of a long fence line, and it smells terrible. It smells like sewage and ocean, and it's dirty, and there's a lot of Border Patrol policemen, and they're very serious people. Customs and Border Patrol is not like a regular law enforcement of like, hey, how you doing? You know, they're like all, and they just kind of look at you like, hey, pardon my French, but we do not fuck around. It's our way or no way. It's like this, it's like that. There are rules, we don't bend them. You know, you're a professional. You should know how this works. If you're not, tough shit. They are different. And I was terrified. And so here's what happens. I'm driving through the port, and I'm going through a maze, and I'm following Google Maps, and it is, like I said, it is literally taking me directly to this door that's like a trailer with like air conditioning units, and they're like multi-units, and it's just a mess. There was several buildings close to each other. Like if it brought me to this fire pit, and I'm looking around, and there's a house here, there's a house there, there's a house there, there's a road there. There looks like, where do I go? So I see a couple of people where cars are parked up against the building, and I just figure I walk up and ask. And so I park, as close to the destination as I could get. And it says to literally go to Shed G. That was my destination, is the Port of Miami, Shed G. And there aren't any real sheds. I don't know why it's called a shed. They're big warehouse, just massive warehouses, and forklifts and semis everywhere, and just a buzz of activity. And I walk up to these three people, and they just kind of look at me like, what the hell does this guy want? And then they have that body language, is like, I figure I'm probably not supposed to be here. I walk up to them, and I'm like, hey, where's Shed G? And they all three kind of look at each other and like, we have no idea. Even though they were literally standing next to it, they're like, we don't know. We never even heard of such a thing. At this point, I'm starting to get nervous. So they all start looking at each other and like, do you know? And they're like, and this lady goes, hold on a second. Let me go check for you. And so she goes in between these two buildings, up a ramp, up another ramp, and into, this is almost like a trailer. No, I mean, I guess there's front doors, but it doesn't look like anything's normal and being used. Like, if you work here, if you're here, you kind of know how to move around. And if you don't, you don't. And I was someone who did not know what to do next. And so she comes out with a Border Patrol agent. And this guy, like I'm telling you, is real serious. And he kind of walks up to me. He's like, yeah, what do you need? I'm like, I'm looking for Shed G. And he's like, what for? I'm like, well, I'm here to pick some stuff up. I need to see your paperwork. I'm like, okay. So I hand him a bunch of paperwork, and he looks at it, and you're going to pick it up yourself? Yeah, in my van. You just think it'll hold it all? I'm like, yeah, it'll. That's just a few boxes. Well, let's go see if we can find it out. So, all right, you stay here. Don't do this. Don't do that. Okay, yes, sir. And yeah, he was real strict. And so I start walking with him, and it's kind of like he doesn't know if I'm supposed to be here either. And then he asked me for some ID, and I'm like, I have a passport. And he kind of looks at me like, okay, this is getting weirder and weirder. And he says, all right, just follow me. So he takes me into a warehouse, and everybody's speaking Spanish. And he's like, can you speak Spanish? I'm like, no. He's like, well, all right, that's another problem. So we got to go find someone who can translate. And we go to this old guy who looks like he's been there forever. And he's the guy that knows where I feel like it was like if there was alien craft or the Ark of the Covenant, like it would be in one of these warehouses, because you would never, it's massive and you'd never find it. And it just stuff's piled everywhere. A massive amounts of stuff. But this guy would know where everything is. And they walk up to him and show him the paperwork. He's like, yeah. He's like, I need to see your ID. I was like, yeah, I got a passport. And they're like, okay, well. So I'm showing my passport around. So far, it's kind of working. And they pull out a skid. They said, here's your stuff. This is one skid. There's another one back there. And I looked at the skid, and I'm like, I can take one skid. And I could, but not two. So I'm starting to get nervous. They tell me, where did you park? Go get your vehicle. Bring it up here. You got to go past this guard shack, and you will need your driver's license. Well, they already know I don't have one. So I'm just like, well, I said, okay. So I go get in my van, and this was the longest drive. This was like 100 yards. I had spent a year trying to make this thing happen. We have all this money invested, and not just our money, other people's money, which is makes me way more nervous than losing my own. And this just feels like, how can I already know I'm not going to be able to get it all in my van. So I'm going to have to ask them, can I please leave this here and come back maybe tomorrow? And how much are they going to charge me for that? And how am I going to tell them that I'm 5 hours away and that I'm that stupid and I didn't bring... I drive up to the guard shack, and there's a woman in there. And she looks like the kind of woman you don't mess around with. The kind that would work in a government, in a place like this where you follow the rules and you can be a little bitchy. And that's just the way it is. Like a guard at a jail or a prison. I mean, they might be nice to you if they want to be, but they kind of don't have to be. So, and you have no rights. That kind of vibe. So I pull up to the guard shack, and she just says, I need your paperwork and your driver's license. And I hand her the paperwork, and I have a picture of my driver's license on my phone. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this. So I pull up the photo, and I just reach my phone out the window. I said, I have a picture of it. She says, hell no! Hell no! She said, you ain't getting in here without a damn driver's license. Hell no! You ain't going through my gate without a driver's license. Something like that. And I said, well, I do have a passport. A passport? And I said, I lost my driver's license. I don't know what to say. It's like, this is ID. You just want my ID. She goes, oh, no. Oh, hell no. She goes, I got to call my supervisor. I said, okay, call your supervisor. I'm just praying. I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, I'm sorry. She calls her supervisor, and she goes, all right, you can go through, honey. She goes, it's all good. She goes, you go on through, honey. She goes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be catch you off guard. It's never hurting. Most people don't come and pick up their own stuff, and People have, all the right paperwork. And she's like, but it's all good. She just turned. She's like, it's just my job, honey. It's just my job. And she was so sweet. And from that moment on, I knew I was going to be okay. I knew it's like I felt that human touch from her. After all of this, she's like, oh, it's okay. Going through. I pull in between these two semi-trailers with my little van. I back it up to the dock. A couple guys come out. We load the van completely full, and there's a whole skid left. And I said, I don't think I can make it back today. They close at 2:30, and it's about noon. Maybe 11 o'clock in the morning. I said, I don't think I can come back today. I said, can I just come get this tomorrow? He's like, yeah. He says, but only you. No one else can pick this up. Only you. And I said, okay. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. 5-hour drive. Cussing my head off. 5-hour drive back to my home. Zephyr Hills here. I go straight to sleep. This was a 10-hour round trip at this point now, or 11 hours with food and gas and crying. And, yeah. I just tapped into some of those emotions, damn. And I'm like, Paul, you can't. This is life. Like, this is, and I'd been to there were a lot of things that break you in life, that could break you, but like you push through, and when they don't break you, they do make you stronger. I mean, it's a little cliche, but it's true. And I'm like, I can do this. I like to drive. I'll have it all tomorrow. It's a 24-hour delay. Man up, dude. So I did. I drove home, went straight to sleep, woke up 8 hours later about midnight. 1 o'clock in the morning, and I headed back to Miami. I got there at 8 o'clock the next morning with some stops and things, and I wanted to be early. And, literally, it's like I felt like I owned the place. I knew where I was going. People were waving me in. They knew who I was. No paperwork, no ID. At that point, it was just... She even said good morning to me. She's like, hey, good morning, honey. I back up, load my van the second time, drive home, 48 hours, 20 hours of driving, 2 days and 20 hours of driving. And I put it all in the house. I don't even have a place for it. We have 500 here. If we sell these, we'll order another 500. Finished up the website. The learning curve has been crazy, building the website and doing everything myself. I guess in the past, other people did it, or we paid people to do stuff. And this is very much me and Dave and Julia. She's actually part of it. I couldn't do this without her, and obviously I couldn't have done any of this without Dave. And, but we made it. We're here. It's day one. Things are live. I would love for you, if you sat through this and you're interested, just go poke around on the website and see if, find any spelling errors or anything like that, or if you have any ideas about how to make it better. I don't expect anybody watching my video is going to have an Apple Vision Pro necessarily, or want to go buy one if you did. So this is really just me talking to you guys. On the channel that we're going to use for the hover headset, of course, that's different. I would love for people to subscribe to that, or help thumbs it up, or leave comments or something to let YouTube know it's there, because it's, 0 subscribers. There's nothing there. So maybe the algorithm will find the video. That's kind of like part of the setup, how to use it and why we made it, and, some of the same stuff in this video, but this one's for you. And it's like 20 minutes long too, unfortunately. Yeah, and I shot it on that bench right there last night. And some funny stuff happened along the way. But it feels like a brand new day. I didn't mean to do that. It just popped in my head. You know, I'm one of the greatest freestyle vloggers there is. So, I can and I will focus on my desire to live the life that I've imagined. I can and I will stay close to this desire by reminding myself of it every day. No one can stop me but me, and no thing can stop me until tomorrow. And I only have to believe it's possible. I could have gone longer, but I know it's a little annoying. Just for today. All right, thank you for watching this video. Hope you feel like you got a little bit of the inside scoop. And go check out the other video or the other channel, or go to a forum somewhere where Apple Vision Pro users are and drop a link in, and I don't know, help any way that you could help kind of get the word out about this very niche product would be fantastic. I think that's it for now.